to Manhattan Life. This is the newest kid on the block as far as Medicare supplements goes. The first business will be allowed to be written for October 1. They'll take business right now for October 1, and moving forward, that's the first effective date. In April, they had their ratings affirmed with AM Best. They are B+ rated, which we've dealt with that with New Era Life, Family Life, Philadelphia American, some other small ones. It's not that big a deal. It's not because of their stability so much as it is their size on this line of business. So they've been around since 1850. They're a big reinsurance company. They reinsure other insurance companies behind the scenes, but that's not real important to what we're going to be able to sell. You can watch more about them later. You've already probably heard of Family Life, a small insurance company that's owned by the Manhattan Life Group. What you may not have heard of these names: Central United Life, which was recently bought by Western United Life, all of which, and they're keeping their same name, are under the Manhattan Life Group. Now, Manhattan Life Direct is a life insurance policy, not so keenly priced, but they are doing some direct-to-consumer marketing with that brand. What you need to know is, if you're in these states, then you need to pay attention. The ones in the dark green are good to go. And let me give you some highlights, because I just got off the phone this morning with their marketing director to get some clarification on things, because this is really breaking news. Let me give you a list of states where these plans are going to be hot, like right now, October 1st. And they've got an amazing e-app, the easiest one in the market. And we'll get into some of their underwriting quirks. Not as easy as New Era and Philadelphia American, but definitely manageable. Okay, and you're going to want to pay attention if you're in the following states. Let me give you an update. Texas, the metro areas around the cities, Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, all those kind of things, those are better rates than the rural areas. So you may not be marketing there already, but just wanted you to know, in full disclosure, they're good in pockets of Texas. So you'll see them. Right now, Ritter is the only quote engine that's showing real-time rates for Manhattan Life. They've got them all loaded in. They don't have the applications loaded in yet, but they do have the rates. So if you're using Craig Ritter's quote engine, if you're not familiar with that, look under the Tools You Need section of my website. The Tools You Need section has how to get access to that quote engine. So again, Texas in the metro areas, it's wonderful. Not so much in the rural areas. Texas will go online today. They're expecting the DOI to give approval today for Texas. Now, Georgia, it's already approved, and the rates are amazing. We'll talk more about Georgia here in just a minute. That will really get you excited if you're in Georgia. Illinois, amazing rates. Indiana, wonderful rates there too. And Michigan, wonderful rates. I've got a policy to write there next week in Michigan already with them. Now, in Missouri, which is always goofy because of the birthday rule, and most plans don't. This is why, who was it? The Philadelphia American or New Era? They had a Plan G there, but no Plan F. The reason why is because of the birthday rule. If they've got Plan F, you can replace Plan F, guaranteed issue, anytime they want to at the renewal of that policy. So they don't have that plan. They don't have Plan F, or they won't have it right now for Missouri for Plan F. They will have Plan G, and they've got great rates on it. Kind of weird, but they're only going to have Plan G. Now, in Louisiana, they've got great rates. That's ready to go. Mississippi, amazing rates. North Carolina, it's a great place to be. Newly approved in Nebraska. Now, Pennsylvania just came online. That's approved now. South Dakota is awesome. Tennessee is great. Utah is just approved and ready. Virginia, not approved yet, but it will be, and they've got great rates there. And they're filing 5 new states that no one knows about. He only told me of 3, that these are filed with the best rates there. They include Idaho, Kentucky, and Wisconsin, but you did not hear it from me. The electronic application is in the final stages of going live. It's going to be on the platform similar to Family Life, which, if you're familiar, was just about the easiest e-app you could ever think of. It will require a telephone interview with all e-apps submitted, because that's how they obtain the voice verification signature at the end. So expect that they'll be doing a phone interview. Just prep your people for it. But it's a very easy e-app. Some folks over at Senior Market Sales took a look at the e-app in its final preparation stages. They did a video of it. I took the liberty of stripping out their self-promotion and just put that e-app demonstration on the website, and I'll make that link go live here in just a minute so you can see that at your leisure. You can watch the e-app and how well that works. It's a very, very simple process. Now that e-app is not yet on. It is expected to go live on Monday or Tuesday at the latest. So on Monday or Tuesday you can see the new e-app. If you're going to wait for that, I understand, but it's not a situation where you're going to have to submit first a paper application. You can just wait for the e-app once your states are approved. There, just push the button that post is going to go live. Next time you refresh the webinars page, you can see all the notes, the map, the outlines of coverage, the rates, and everything for what we have available for Manhattan Life, including the demonstration of the electronic application, which I think you'll find useful. Now back to my presentation here. There are some unique aspects of this company which are going to drive the rates even lower than what you initially see, which I think you're going to enjoy. First, let's look at the underwriting real quick. Now, the underwriting guide, I also took the liberty of putting that in this post, so you can click, download, and put it on your desktop or somewhere you can easily retrieve it. The outline, the underwriting criteria and guidelines for Manhattan Life. It's all straightforward. I mean, look at this chart here. If I'm 6'5", I could be as big as 337 pounds and still be approved. That's a pretty liberal height and weight chart. You must agree. If you're 5 foot flat, 205 pounds, and you're still good to go. Anything above that, and you're outside the guidelines. Some other things I want to bring your attention, and this is it. This is it. Look at the list of states here, and more are to come. But if you are currently licensed or doing business in any of these states, you really need to get Manhattan Life. This is how their household discount works. You can be married. Let's say you've got a 70-year-old man and he's married to a 40-year-old woman. Hey, it's not all that crazy nowadays. If you do, he would still qualify for a spouse discount. Now, she's not Medicare eligible, and she won't be Medicare eligible for 20-some-odd years, but it doesn't matter. Still, he's going to qualify for the spouse discount because he's married. It's pretty amazing, isn't it? The other way he can qualify is if anyone lives in that house. Let's say he lives with a brother who's also over 60 years old, not even Medicare eligible yet, just over 60 years old, still qualifies him for that spouse discount. It should really be like a household discount, not really a spouse discount. That's quite amazing. I mean, it really, really is. So if you look at this, there's two different ways you can qualify. Either married, no matter what their age is, or just living in the house that's 60 years old, and being any adult at all. Now, here's the key point. They don't have to be applying for coverage. They don't have to have coverage right now. They don't have to ever get coverage. They just have to be living in the same house to qualify for this. That's quite amazing. It really is. So most of the people are going to qualify for the spouse discount in these states: Arizona, Georgia, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Mississippi, North Carolina, Nebraska, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Virginia. It's more the rule than not that they've got this spouse discount approved, and it's 7%. So you have a person a lady's got a $100 premium, now it's suddenly $93 because of the spouse discount. They may not even be married, just living with their sister or a friend or a relative. That's going to separate them big time. Now remember, in the Ritter quote engine, where you're looking at the quotes side by side, and you see somebody who's going to show up with your regular quote, if you change that to the person's status as married applying together, that's the one you want to look at for the spouse or the household discount, and then all those numbers are going to shift. Now, we've not enjoyed a spouse discount so much with New Era, Philadelphia American, Aflac. I don't believe CSI and some of the other new ones to the market. They have not had a spouse discount out there, but this one is very cool. Aetna just announced their spouse discount a couple months ago, in certain states. But this, combined with the rates already filed, is really going to put them ahead of the pack. Now, typical street level commission is going to be 21%, different in goofy states like Indiana and Texas, but the typical street level commission on this is 21%, so that's another good thing. Moving right along, something else you need to know. This company will allow you to have an inhaler. If you've got somebody who's got occasional or seasonal asthma, you can get them approved here. If you'll recall, if you had New Era Life or Philadelphia American Life, while they're really great on things like spinal stenosis, diabetes, even taking narcotics and so forth as prescription meds, you can't use an inhaler. If you use an inhaler with New Era Philadelphia American Life and they answer, yes, I use an inhaler, they're done. Well, Manhattan Life, you can use an inhaler, and their rates are actually better. As with all companies, you can't use oxygen and get medically underwritten, and none of the companies really like it when you have to go to the doctor's office and get something administered. Any injections given in the doctor's office, any infusions, those kind of things, is a definite no-go. One other thing that's pretty important, and this was a question submitted through a support ticket just yesterday or the day before. What about a person who, oh, I remember it was a Stonebridge case, and the person was taking Vicodin, and they were, hold on one second. Okay, sorry. This question had come up, and none of the companies will take somebody if they're taking narcotics for pain, a chronic condition taking narcotics for pain. Now, New Era and Philadelphia American won't ask you what drugs they're taking, and they don't care to that extent. But on any company that you're going to have to list the drugs, any of these kinds of drugs like this, if they're taking it for regular routine pain management, they're going to be a decline. So you need to know that is also true with Manhattan Life, and here's the part of the underwriting that addresses that specifically. All right, and I'm going to go into questions now, but let me show you where I just made this live on the site, and you can see the resources that are available for it. I mentioned in last week's conference call that if you want the contracting for Manhattan Life, you can get it from anywhere that you already have a relationship. That's fine. Or you can get it right here on the site at MedicareAgentTraining.com, and at the top you would just put in Go and then ML, or I made another link for it down here to make it easier. So it's MedicareAgentTraining.com/go/ML for Manhattan Life, and that immediately pulls up the contract. But this post is going to be where today's webinar video will be, just basically going over the company. Here's the last map with some of the ones that I just mentioned to you that I got off the phone with him. Those are not included in here yet. We'll update this as time allows when it's made available. I took the liberty of taking the questions from the Manhattan Life application. I stripped out all the gobbledygook at the beginning just so you can see the health questions and print them out for your desktop. You can see here that if they're confined to a wheelchair or need the assistance of a motorized mobility device, in the last 2 years suffered 2 or more falls. See, that's unique to them. If you suffered 2 or more falls in a 6-month period, that's kind of unique. And you can see all their health questions there. Another place that you may or may not know about already is if you're wondering, would this be approved or would that be approved with a particular carrier that you're considering, look at the Medicare Supplements tab under Training Modules at the training site. And under the Medicare Supplements tab, you'll see all the health questions for nearly every company that's out there. And you can just click on the document here, and it opens up in a new window as a PDF file where you can then put this on your desk. So if you've already identified the top 3 companies for Plan F, top 3 companies for Plan G in the market that you want to work, given the 3 quote engines that we have access to for free, then come here and get those health questions and put them on your desk. Literally put them on your desk so that you can reference them at all times. Here's the one for Equitable, which is very easy. And so you can access also now the Manhattan Life questions here. And again, that's found under the Training Modules, Medicare Supplements. You can see where to market, hottest states, and we need to update this now that Manhattan Life's there. That'll be a project. And then also all the questions. Now, the other thing that's kind of nice is what will it cost to get an appointment fee that you have to pay for in these other states? Click on this. It's got a document that'll show you that. What does it cost to get a non-resident license in some of these states you want to market in? That's found there as well. All right, that'll be of use to you. Now, back on the site with Manhattan Life, this is a post there. So I've got the questions from the application. Got their underwriting guide here too. As you're looking through the underwriting guide for Manhattan Life, a couple of things I want to draw your attention to. You want to take the specific page that has their height and weight chart, which is page 10, this page here, and print that page out. You want to stick it to the back of the health questions. And then you can go on their guaranteed issue part. Some states, I mentioned this earlier in an answer to someone yesterday, when someone's leaving an employer plan, companies treat that differently. Let me see if I can zero in on it on here. Some companies will say you can have guaranteed issue status if you're being forced off of the group plan. Other companies say it doesn't matter. If you're leaving a group plan regardless, then you can have it. That is guaranteed issue. This is a part right here. This is page 8. So Manhattan Life recognizes the laws in these states to say that in Colorado, Illinois, Louisiana, Nebraska, Ohio, Texas, Indiana, Montana, New Jersey, Oklahoma, and Pennsylvania, these are the only states where if they're voluntarily leaving in a group coverage that you've got guaranteed issue rights. I had a situation in South Carolina a few weeks ago where a person was leaving their group plan voluntarily, and they wanted to go with Cigna. But Cigna recognized these same rules that are state-specific to those states that says, look, if you're in this state and you're leaving voluntarily, you still have guaranteed issue rights. Well, South Carolina is not listed here. They don't have such a rule. So Cigna says, no, we don't recognize that as a state where voluntarily leaving people can have guaranteed issue coverage if they're leaving a group plan. So I asked that same question of New Era Life. And they said, look, if they're leaving an employer plan regardless of the issue, we're going to go ahead and accept that as guaranteed issue. And they did. So it's good to have the underwriting guide for how that company is going to treat your person if they're leaving a group plan. And here's where you can find that for Manhattan Life. So you might want to print that whole thing out. It goes over forms that you're not going to need because you're going to use the e-app. And then the household discount. This will have to be updated in the future as they're adding more states right now, some of which will have the discount. Actually, Idaho, Kentucky, and Wisconsin will have the discount, and they're not listed here. That was Idaho, Kentucky, and Wisconsin will have the spouse discount. Not a spouse discount. I got to stop saying that. The household discount. And remember, they do not have to be applying with somebody else or have somebody else with the same carrier for coverage like Mutual has. That's their requirement. Now it can be living with a spouse that is of any age, whether or not they have Medicare or a plan, or living in the household with somebody that's at least 60 years old or over, no matter what the relationship, they're going to get the spouse discount. Pretty nice. They don't do direct draft. Not going to do it, but they will let you draft the account from the EFT any day of the month that you wish. That's a nice thing. One thing that's important to note, they will, unlike Cigna and Equitable, which are really nice about this, they will only draft, this is Manhattan Life, will only draft upon approval, not on the effective date. So let's say it's the 20th of September, last week, 20th of September, and somebody wants coverage for October 1st. Well, right when they get approved, it could be September 21st. They get approved, the company's going to draft them right now for October. This becomes a problem when you're writing somebody, let's say on the 13th of the month. This happens all the time with us. You're writing somebody on the 13th of the month, and all of a sudden they're approved. Well, a company like Manhattan Life, New Era Life, Mutual of Omaha, CSI, and others, if they draft upon approval, they're going to draft them right now. So about the 15th, that's going to go through. If they're replacing somebody where their draft is on the 15th of the month or after, they are going to experience 2 drafts at once. Like if they're with Mutual of Omaha and they're drafting on the 15th, that means that they have not yet paid for September until September 15th. Now September's paid for. Well, they're going to have a double draft. Now, most of the people, because they're affluents in this target demographic, this is not going to affect them much. They don't care, because all you need to let them know is, yes, you're going to have a double draft, but in October you will have no drafts at all. There is no draft for October. So you need to let them know how to manage that, because they're not going to do like Equitable does and Cigna, which we really love. They'll let you draft upon issue. I mean, the effective date. So October 1, the gentleman I wrote yesterday, that's when he's going to draft, when he's already normally ready for and used to a draft happening.